Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily and I am your number one romance girly. So for today's video, as usual, we are doing my April reading wrap up. So I read 13 books in the month of April. Yes, this wasn't my best reading month, but it was my birthday this month, so you have to give me some credit, right? I didn't read for a few days, but I feel like we've had a good month. I also was lucky enough to receive quite a lot of ARC reads this month, which, if you don't know, ARC reads is advanced reader copies. So publishers sent me these before the books came out to talk about. So yeah, really excited. So I'm going to share everything and what I rated them basically, and whether I think you should read them or not. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the first book that I read in April was Starside by Alex Astor. This was my most anticipated read of the year. As you guys know, I love Alex Astor, so I was very excited. However, I only rated this 4.5 stars. I say only, that's still pretty good, right? But I couldn't give it 5 stars, guys, because the romance didn't start until halfway through the book, which I get it, okay? She's building the story up before she goes in with the romance. I get it, but I struggled with the first half. The second half, however, loved it. Absolutely loved it. The cliffhanger, oh my goodness. When is the next book out? I need it now. Although she has just announced the next book, isn't it? It's the end of the year. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I love Alex Astor. Okay, so this one follows the female main character, who is Eris, I want to say. Eris, I don't know how to pronounce it. She lives on Stormside. So you have two sort of sides of the world, of the realm. You've got Stormside and you've got Starside. So Stormside is the side where the mortals live. There's like no magic or anything. And then you've got Starside, which is the magic realm. So every 50 years there is a competition where people from Stormside can enter this competition to get onto Starside to win a wish. So quite a lot of people do. However, usually if you go on this quest, you are likely to die. Anyway, Eris has decided she wants to go to Starside to get revenge. From what, I'm not going to tell you. So yeah, it's her journey going through the competition to get to Starside, and then what Starside's like, and her journey to get her wish. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait for the next one. Okay, the next book I read was Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is my first Carly Fortune book that I read, and I loved it. I thought it was really cute. So this follows the female main character, who is Fern, and the male main character, who is Will. Fern and Will meet when they are teenagers. They spend 24 hours together where they realise that they were meant to be together. However, Will has got a girlfriend and Fern has got a boyfriend, so it doesn't really work out. But they spend these 24 hours together and they agree that they are going to meet up in a year's time. Fern goes to meet up with him in a year's time, but Will doesn't turn up. And then 10 years later, Will turns up on her doorstep and she basically finds out why he didn't turn up. And yeah, I loved it. If you just love a cute romance, definitely give this one a go. I rated it 4 stars. Okay, the next book that I read was an ARC read. So it was A Cage of Tenderness and Torment. This book was brutal, guys. I don't know what I was expecting, but I almost DNF'd this sort of within the first couple of chapters, because this is brutal. This is such a sad story. So it's dark romance, if I've not said that already, but I think I have. If you're going to read this, check trigger warnings, because it is very sad. However, when you push past the sadness of the story, it's so good. It is so good. Heartbreaking, but I couldn't put it down because I needed to know what happens. I don't want to give too much away about this book because I feel like you kind of need to read it to like go into it, but please check trigger warnings because it is really sad. It's basically like dom and sub. The people that know what that means will know what that means, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but taken to an extreme. Taken to a really unhealthy extreme, and it's heartbreaking. But if you like dark romance, heartbreaking books that make you like feel something, I think you'd like this. But please check trigger warnings. I rated this one 4 stars. Okay, the next book is Between the Pages and the Rink by Meadow Thompson. This one I read on Kindle Unlimited. You guys probably don't know because I posted it on TikTok and I haven't said it here, but I am an official street team member for Meadow Thompson and I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I read this book. It is a hockey romance, a very steamy hockey romance, and it is a why choose. So I get that this isn't for everyone, however I loved it, and if you like spicy romance, I don't see why you wouldn't like this. It is so good, guys. So this follows our female main character, who is Fawn. Fawn is an author. She's just published her first book, which was based on like a cowboy romance, and now she wants to write her second book about a hockey romance. However, she doesn't know anything about hockey, so she decides to go to her local hockey team practices and sort of get a feel for what hockey players are like and like the lingo and what hockey is even about, because she doesn't have a clue. And while she goes to a practice and she kind of like sits there and watches all the hockey players practice, she falls for 2 of them. So she falls for Dylan and Torin, who are completely different types of people. So Dylan is sort of like a golden retriever kind of guy. He is the captain of the team. He is outgoing. He moonwalks on the ice and like gets everyone hyped up and cheering. He is so cute. Like, oh my goodness, absolutely love Dylan. And then Torin is the complete opposite. Torin is like the silent, grumpy, I class him, yeah, he is grumpy. He's just the complete opposite. He's like, he doesn't really speak to anyone. He kind of keeps to himself. But yeah, so Dylan and Torin actually live together. They are friends and they share a house together. They both fall for Fawn. God, that's a mouthful, isn't it? And they sort of like get together and they have a conversation. They're like, well, what are we gonna do? And she's like, well, I like both of you, so I don't know. And they're like, well, we're happy to share. So I didn't know where this book was going, if I'm honest with you. I didn't know if it was gonna kind of be like a love triangle situation, or like one of them gets her on one night and one of them gets her on another night. But no, they actually share. So if they go on a date, 3 of them are going on a date, which I've not read anything like that before, so that was really new to me. But I loved it. I thought it was great. So I would definitely recommend this if you are sort of into steamy hockey romance. It was great. I rated this one 4.5 stars. Top notch. And thank you so much for Meadow for letting me join your team, because that is so exciting to me. Okay, the next book that I read is Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry. You guys know, Shield of Sparrows, 5-star behaviour. I was well excited for this one to come out, although I'm always scared with sequels of books because are they going to be as good? This one was just as good, guys. I loved it. This picks up pretty much exactly where Shield of Sparrows ended, so absolutely love that. I don't want to give too much away because if you haven't read Shield of Sparrows yet, go and read Shield of Sparrows. I don't know what you're doing with your life. You need to go and read it. Top notch. So yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but this one is just as good as Shield of Sparrows, so you know. Okay, the next book I read is Across the Vanishing Sky by Catherine Cowles. So this was my first book by Catherine Cowles and I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of expecting like a cute little romance. No, I was wrong. I was wrong, guys. This is romance meets mystery, thriller vibes. This follows the female main character, who is Braden. It starts a year earlier. She goes for a hike with her best friend and her best friend goes missing on this hike. So she ends up a year later moving to the town where they hiked, and she wants to find out what's happened to her friend because people just don't just disappear. And the police are being really annoying, and they're kind of saying like it was an accident, she probably fell into the river and we're not going to find her. But Brayden is not taking no for an answer. She wants to know what's happened to her friend. So this story is kind of like finding out what has happened to her friend when she meets Dex. Dex is a local to the town, so this is kind of like small town vibes. Dex is a local to the town, however he doesn't live at home anymore. He's moved back to town and he ends up moving in next door to Brayden. This is like grumpy ex-sunshine vibes. So good. And obviously they end up falling for each other. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, the next book I read was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. Oh my goodness, guys. I remember telling you in my TBR that I wasn't going to be sure on this because it's not really a romance. How wrong was I? Don't get me wrong, I did struggle at times because it's not a romance book. It's historical fiction. But oh my goodness, I did rate this 4 stars because there was times in it where I did get a little bit bored. There was bits in it where I was a bit like, come on, like, I want to get to a good bit now. Which is why I couldn't rate it 5 stars. However, since reading this book, I have thought about it nearly every single day. It has really humbled me. It has made me appreciate the life that I live. Yeah, so this one follows the Dust Bowl situation in America, and it sort of runs from the 1920s up to like the 1940s, I want to say. Oh my goodness, this book is heartbreaking. Like, and a lot of people rated it on Goodreads saying that it was really bad and that Kristen Hanna is just putting all these sad things in a book to make people like cry and like rate it 5 stars because it's got so many things in it that's emotional. However, I didn't get that sense from it at all. I actually thought that it was really genuine to the things that people probably went through at that time. And yeah, okay, a lot of bad things happened to this family during their lifespan. However, that was what was happening at the time. Like this is what I can imagine genuine people went through. So I thought it was really realistic, to be honest with you. But then that's the joy of books, isn't it? Because we all have different opinions. I would 100% recommend this. It was so good. I'm so excited to read more Kristen Hanna now because if it's anything like this, I feel like I'm going to be emotionally destroyed. Love that for me. Okay, the next books that I read were ARCs that I was lucky enough to receive. They are both by J.R. Gale, and the first one is Mr. Unexpected and the next one is Mr. Persistent. This is going to be like a longer series. These are just the 2 that are out at the moment. This is giving millionaire / billionaire romance situation, which I love. If you kind of like Anna Huang, you'll like these. You'll like these. So this book follows the female main character, who I cannot remember her name, I'm really sorry, and the male main character, who is Harrison. They meet unexpectedly and then they keep meeting up. So originally I think she meets him at a bar, like she's sat with her friend but she sees him in the corner and she's like, you're a bit of okay. And then she doesn't really think anything of it, and then a couple of weeks later or a week later they meet up at an event. Like they keep unexpectedly meeting up with each other. Obviously it's called Mr. Unexpected. Yeah, they obviously try and give it a go without giving too much away. It is your stereotypical millionaire romance, kind of a bit toxic, you know, the ones that we love. Yes, that's the first one. I gave the first one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Nothing too crazy out of the ordinary. Just if you like millionaire romances, you'll like this. However, the second one, Mr. Persistent, this one has everything that I need in a romance book and more. The male main character is Harrison's brother, who is called Nate, and the female main character is called Maddie. Oh my goodness. They meet when they are sort of teenagers. Maddie and, well, they both end up going to like a summer camp, and they end up meeting each other because Nate is friends with Maddie's brother. So they already know each other. However, this is Maddie's first time at the camp, and it's basically love at first sight, okay? And we're talking about like childhood sweethearts, like they just love each other. Then the camp finishes, so I think they're there for like a month or 2 months. The camp finishes, she goes back to her life, he goes back to his life, and they don't meet up for a year, but they are going to college together. So they know that eventually they'll be back together, but they spend a year apart where they struggle with like phone calls and trying to keep the relationship going. And then they go to college together, so they kind of spend about 4 years together. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, they are childhood sweethearts. Then something happens, without giving too much away. And then so like the first half is like really cutesy, and then the second half we're talking like billionaire, we're talking mafia, we're talking CEO vibes. You have everything you could possibly want in a romance book. Mr. Persistent, 5-star behaviour. Loved it. I actually can't wait for the next books to come out. Okay, the next book I read was another arc called Just This Once by Lena Hendricks. Again, I loved this one. This is given small town vibes. The female main character, who is Emily, she is like new to town, and when she gets to town, she ends up having a one-night stand with the male main character, who is Whip. This is why it didn't get rated 5 stars for me. His nickname is Whip and his surname is King. So through the book, he was known as Whip King. And I don't know, I just cringed. I cringed a little bit, but that doesn't take away that this was a really good book. So Emily and Whip end up having a one-night stand. When she wakes up the next day, she sees that he is a firefighter. His uniform is in his bedroom. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Emily's stepdad is the fire marshal, or like the top manager of the fire station. So Emily's stepdad is Whip's manager. And Emily's stepdad says that she cannot date a firefighter because they've got a bad reputation. So it's kind of like forbidden romance, because she ends up running out of the house. He's like, what the hell did I do? Like, what is going on? And they obviously end up seeing each other because she's moved back to town. So she is a teacher, and they obviously bump into each other because her stepdad is his boss. So it's like they obviously have this sexual tension and this chemistry. They're like trying to fight it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I did rate it 4 stars, which, yeah, I have to give it 4 stars for the Whip King. That was cringy, but it was a really, really good book. Definitely would recommend. Okay, the next book I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is my second book by Alice Feeney, and it was so much better than the last one. The last one I read was Beautiful Ugly, and although I enjoyed it, I felt like it was a bit far-fetched. And don't get me wrong, this one is probably, well, aren't all thriller books a little bit far-fetched? However, this one I really, really loved. Obviously, I'm not going to explain too much because I don't want to give much of the plot twists away, but it's basically about a husband and wife who aren't really getting on at the moment, and they think that to fix their relationship, they should go on like a holiday getaway to Scotland to try and fix their relationship. This was so good. So good. I loved this book so much. I rated it 4.5 stars. You just gotta love a good plot twist that you didn't see coming. Okay, the next book that I read was The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. Now, I know that everyone was raving about this book. However, I didn't know how good it was actually going to be. This book was everything. Was everything. If you like Bridgerton mixed with fantasy, then you would love this. However, even if you're not a massive fantasy person, I don't feel like this was too much fantasy. Like, everyone is pretty much normal apart from the Queen and her son. which is from like another realm. So they have magic. However, everyone else is kind of mortal. This follows the female main character, who is Ivy. Her family are going through a bit of a tough time and they're sort of cast out of society, and it is Ivy's job to try and get them back into society. So the girls of the Ton go to the Queen and they do like this trade ceremony where they can trade things to, I don't know, be prettier and things. Usually it's to try and get a husband. So usually people are like, can I trade to have longer hair, or I don't know, whatever their body insecurity is. A lot of it is to do with that. Or some people are like, can I trade to be smarter, or can I trade to be better at the piano, or like really random things. When Ivy goes to the trade situation, the Queen is like, there's a bit of a twist to this year because my son wants to have a bride. However, anyone who wants to court my son must come and sign to say they want to court him. And if you sign, even if he doesn't pick you, you are no longer allowed to court anyone else. So if the prince doesn't pick them, then they are going to be a spinster for the rest of their life. So it is a massive, massive fight to the death, pretty much. Well, not death, but you know what I mean. Fight to be the princess. Oh, I loved it. This is given love triangle. I'm not going to explain why. It's just such a well, I say cute. It's just such a like easy romancy read. It wasn't anything crazy. There wasn't loads of world building. In fact, it's based in London and they talk about the UK. So it's all like real places. Like a lot of fantasy I struggled to keep up with. I loved this. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. If you love Bridgerton and fantasy, you have to read this. And finally, the last book I read was another arc. So this is All of Our Next Times by Jenna Wire. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This book, guys, this book was so good. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know, this is probably really bad of me, but every time I get an arc from an author that I've not heard of, or like an indie author or something like that, I'm just kind of expecting it not to be as good, which I really need to stop doing, because just because something hasn't got out to everyone yet and isn't like mega popular doesn't mean that it's bad. So I really need to change my mindset on this, because this book, if you liked The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I'm not talking about the books necessarily, I'm like the storyline, the show, whatever, you need to give this book a go. We are talking about childhood best friends to lovers. So this follows the female main character, who is Elizabeth, and it starts off, I think she's like 5, she's really, really young, and she gets some new neighbours move in next door, and they're twins. And obviously, being a little girl, she goes and dresses up and puts her princess dress on, and she pretends to be a princess, and she makes these boys be her princes. But they're okay with it. They're okay with it, okay? And they're just really cute friends. And then a few years on, when they're all in school together, a new friend joins their 3 friendship groups to make a 4 friendship group situation, and his name is Ryder. So the love triangle is between one of the twins, who is called Jason, Ryder, and then Elizabeth. This is the 3 guys, so the twins and Ryder. This is like touch her and I'll kill you vibes, which I love, like the protectiveness of it, loved it. Then you've got the love triangle, which is just top notch, let's be honest. And then just when you think that you know what's going on, what on earth was the ending? What on earth was the ending? I need to have a word with this author, because, to the point where I had to Google when the next book was out, because I need it now. So Jenna Wire, you're probably not watching this, but if you are, can I have an early copy of the next book in the series, which is Paper Stars Rewritten? Because I need it. I need to know what's happened. And obviously I don't want to give it too much away, because I want you to experience that for yourself. So this book is published on the 4th of May. So by the time you're watching this, it's going to be out. So good, guys. Please go and read this book. If you like The Summer I Turned Pretty, please go and read this book. It is so good. So good. So that is all of the books that I read in the month of April. I'm sorry that there was a lot of arcs, and I'm hoping that you enjoyed that and it wasn't too much. Because if a book is a good book, you want to hear about it, right? So yeah, if I got given an arc and I didn't like it, I would not be recommending it to you guys. I hope that you know that you can trust when I say I wouldn't just be recommending you books that I didn't like, because what's the point in that, basically. Please leave a comment if that is your cup of tea, if you don't mind sort of hearing about arcs and things like that, because if everyone absolutely hates me talking about arcs, then maybe I won't do as many, or I'll just post them on TikTok instead. But if you enjoyed it, then please let me know. As always, thank you for making it to the end. You guys literally mean the world to me, and we passed 200 subscribers the other day, so thank you so much. You guys literally, I know that 200 subscribers is probably nothing to most people, but to me that's a lot, okay? And I'm grateful for every single one of you. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.